Okay, well, welcome everybody. This is Mark Harris here, and of course, we are on this Web TV Mastermind series. And of course, I have my illustrious co-host Ann Devere. Say hi, Ann.
Hello everybody. Hey Mark, happy to be here.
All right, me too. Well, today we're going to do something really exciting. It's actually all about a strategy session and a Q&A about how you can actually use Google Hangouts and Web TV to actually profit. So a lot of you have said, okay, well, I see the value of Web TV. I see where it's going. I see the trends that are starting to happen. I see how this can be great for business. But I just don't exactly see how in my niche, creating a Web TV show will be profitable and exciting and maybe even something that can really help you lead your market. And the reason why this is so important for so many of you is because you're in a situation where nobody has ever really seen a TV show in some of the types of niches that are now possible, right? If you think about it, in times past, if there wasn't a big enough general audience, there's no way that they would create a TV show around it, right? But you see, now you can actually have 10,000 viewers, and it's one of the greatest, most successful TV shows imaginable for you because those 10,000 people are right at the center of your market, and people can spend a lot of money with you. You may be able to do still 100,000. A 100,000 person show, maybe a week or a month, is considered really, really bad in the network TV business. But of course, we would be delighted to have that many maybe prospects, customers, clients joining us for a Web TV show in our niche in that particular way. So at the same time, you've never really seen some of these maybe smaller niche TV shows and how profitable they can be for you. So that's why we're here to talk them through this and help do some strategy sessions. So the first step, of course, is to what I want you to do is actually, Ann, why don't you on your screen show everybody how to do reverse chronological. Actually, I'll tell you, I'll do it on my screen. It's because I don't actually have the link yet. So let me just do this and get the link. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on. I'm going to share my screen for a minute. And let's see. Let me first do this. Actually, hold on. What we're going to do is we're going to show you how to do what I'm about to say, which will give you a link so you can access inside the Hangout here. So we're going to go to Mega. You should be already on megahangout.com, megahangout.com/webtv/live. That's the page we're on right now, megahangout.com/webtv/live. And I'm going to stop this from playing back so we don't have to hear it. Hopefully it won't play. Let me stop. Okay, here we go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you my screen to show you what we're going to be doing here. So screen share, where's it at? Probably right. Where's it at? No, we're going to do this. There we go. We're going to get it here. It's taking a couple seconds extra for me to do this. Okay, where did the page go?
Windows all the time. I love it. So many great tools.
Yep. Let's see here. That's the page. Okay, and then here's web. Yeah, okay, here we go. So let's go to share the screen. There we go. Show that page. Share screen. Okay. So hopefully, Ann, do you see my page right now?
Yep, there it is.
Okay. So megahangout.com/webtv/live. That's where you should be. Whether you're watching this, well, you have to be watching this live to do what we're talking about. Anyway, what we're going to do here is, let me shut this ad off over here. Anyway, what you want to do is you're going to see comments right here. And what you want to do is make sure that they are in reverse chronological order, which is right here. So you just click where it says comments, make sure you're logged into like Facebook, click the comments and say reverse chronological order. All right, and what you're going to see is you're going to see the most recent comments there. I'm going to add a comment right now, which is, this is how you enter the Hangout. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you this link, and that is a link that you should, oh, I got to log into Facebook myself, it appears. So let me do that real quick. Okay, and log in. And now I can make that comment. So there's a link there now at the top of, chronological top, of these comments. And what that's going to do is it's going to allow you to click this link right here. You'll see this is how you enter the Hangout. You click right there. Now I have two rules. The first rule is that you have to keep yourself muted. So if you're not muted when you enter, please mute yourself. And I'll show you how to do that in a second. But basically at the top there's a little microphone link, and just make sure it's red, which means muted. If you're not muted, please mute yourself, or I'll help mute you. If you continue not to mute yourself, then I'm going to have to probably kick you out of the Hangout. But what our job here is to get everybody excited about giving us your specific idea about, or your industry, and we're going to give you some ideas about how you can actually create this for your industry, market, or niche. So what we're going to do is, hopefully you can see me now, and what we're going to do is we're going to talk about your niche. We're going to talk about what you're doing in your marketplace. We're going to talk about how you can monetize it. We're going to talk about how you could do list building with it. We can talk whatever your goals are with the web TV show. Maybe it's to get donations for a nonprofit. Whatever it is, tell us what you're doing, and then we'll be able to, between Ann and I, we're going to brainstorm and show you how people are already doing it, which is probably more rare because it's so new, but more likely to show you exactly how you can monetize it and how you can make things happen, whether partnerships that I can help you bring on, or some of the ones that Ann's already got already underway here, and also some great monetizing secrets on how you can make this all happen. Because otherwise, if it doesn't really work for your goals, it could be monetization goals, it could be list building goals, it could be a lot of goals you may have, but that's really what we're trying to do here. So with that being said, Ann, why don't you say a couple words to kind of get us started while we're waiting for some people to come in and also ask questions.
Great, wonderful. So actually, here's I've been doing a lot of interacting with people lately and really getting into their mindset as to what's going on, their view of Google Hangouts and their view of web TV. What does it all mean? And so what I want to do is just take a couple of minutes and kind of connect the known with the unknown, if you will. So what I want to do is simplify web TV, because it sounds so big, and it's actually huge, but it's not that difficult to actually leverage, because it's just internet. And you're already using a lot of the tools that now we call web TV. So all of a sudden it just becomes a lot more doable, just so you get really excited about what Mark and I are talking about. And you are really thinking about all the different ways you can use it. I want to give you some food for thought. And then so basically Mark and I are going to go back and forth and help you put all this together, put the idea together. So I want you to get this. Now I'm going to actually, excuse me, wow, talking too much lately, I guess. Let's take a sip of water, and it's always
okay. Wait. Web TV tip number 1: always have a glass of water handy for just such emergencies, but usually try to do it when the other person's talking. But anyway, go ahead.
Yes, that's it. And here's the other tip: it's never perfect. It's always happening, and people actually love the interaction when it's natural. And quite frankly, even traditional television is not perfect. But here's the other part: whenever we're watching the traditional TV shows, we love those little bloopers at the end because they're fun to watch. They make it real. They make it entertaining. So if it makes you feel any better about not being perfect, great, because that's what we want you to take away from here. Jump on and don't worry about being perfect. My goodness, I guess I've been presenting too much lately. So I am getting to another screen. And by the way, this looks kind of fancy, but the beauty of this is that we have some really simple tools that you can use right now that will make you look professional, like the ones I'm using right now. So if you can see my screen, it's basically what's happening out there is Google Hangouts and web TV are literally shifting every aspect of marketing as we know it. There's a huge wave. It's a tsunami. It's not even a wave. It's a tsunami coming our way. People are really getting it. It's getting really exciting. People understand the importance of, Google. They understand the importance of web TV, but the timing is of the issue. And this is where Mark and I are really excited about making sure we give you the information for you to say, oh, I can do this, and I can do it today. And that's the idea here. So basically, it's like, it's the time. Either you want to ride the wave or you want to get swept under, because a lot of people are seeing the ease of this and the power of this. So our job today, what we have taken on is to get you to understand that. So Google Hangouts is a powerful broadcasting platform. It's just like any other broadcasting platform that the networks are using, except you have access to it. You have access to it for free, and it goes global instead of just national. A lot of the television networks they go national, and most of them, well, all of them now, they also have their web TV version of it. This is how they keep in touch with their people. So they're using basically the same platform that you're using. There are many different broadcasting platforms for web TV. Google Hangouts is one of them. And you have access to it. How cool is that? And for free. So the next thing we want you to know is that, you see it out there right now. You have all kinds of people really jumping on board. You see all kinds of cooking shows. People are broadcasting their music, playing their music, and building their fan base from their garages. Bands are taking huge advantage of it. And you probably heard there are all kinds of musicians, all kinds of artists that are getting wide recognition because they're using YouTube and Google Hangout and web TV combination. That's it. And the President of the United States and the First Lady are using it to stay in touch with their public. So think about this. They're keeping in touch with their public. Isn't this a great tool for you to keep in touch with the people who like you? Like Mark was saying, in traditional TV, you wait millions for it to be a viable TV show. But I don't know about you, but 10,000 people following me, watching my show, that's 10,000 targeted audience, is a huge, huge network to really tap into. And that can easily be, gathered, with the fan base in a short time. And so it's one of the things that's really exciting about this because you're already online, you're already on social media. Google Plus is a social media platform. So a lot of you already have videos on YouTube. This is basically knowing how to use Google Hangouts and YouTube together as a social media platform, if you want to look at it that way. It's a video platform. And I love the idea of it being so simple. It's a huge part of social media. But having said that, do not underestimate the power of web TV.
Yeah, so one of the other things you want to keep in mind here is that really what we're talking about is the also the engagement factor, because you may only have, quote unquote, only have 10,000 people. But if you have 10,000 viewers on a show that's highly targeted, as Ann just said, that are fully engaged, because when they're watching a show for 30 minutes, if somebody goes to your 10,000 people go to your webpage, you'd probably be really tickled pink. But if 10,000 people are watching a 30-minute show, okay, that is like the equivalent of 100 times that. Really, like it's like almost 1 million people seeing your webpage because they're actually interacting and having an engagement level that is through the roof. And it's not just for them. The engagement level is also for your partners and for sponsors and for guests and would-be guests and all of that. So you really are putting yourself at the center of your market's universe, right? You're putting yourself at the center of this marketplace in a way that's really high profile, so that everybody who could possibly partner with you, whether people who have lists, whether people who have great innovation, maybe great experts who could be interviewees, you've created some pretty amazing stuff. By the way, before we go on, I want to make sure that everybody realizes you need to go to right below this video, if you're just joining us, and I know some of you are just joining us, and make sure you go right before this this Google Hangout Live here, and right below this, I entered a comment. Make sure you go see where it says 609 comments, whatever the number is, just click that and go reverse chronological order, and it'll bring the most up-to-date or the most recent. See, we've already had several other comments since I actually posted it, but several comments down the way here is this is how you enter the Hangout. So you got to click this link. Now it may not be working properly here, so Ann, if you could text me your link on your side, because you started this Hangout, maybe that's part of the problem. We'll see it, because it looks like she's having a hard time with this link. At least Diane, who wants to be able to get in right now, is having a hard time with this link. Okay. I don't know if I can possibly have somebody test that, but send me the link just to see if I'm getting the same link you are.
Okay, I am actually putting it in the chat box right now.
Okay, and then
that's how easy it is, folks.
Yeah. Okay, that's easy. Okay, let me just grab that. I'll put it up again just in case. I think it's the same link, but let me just be sure. See, right click, copy link. All right, I'm going to go back there. and do this. Okay, this is the link on how to get on. I'm not sure if this is the same one. Here's is the link. Okay, so if you want to get to join us inside. Okay, now what I'm going to do is, like Diane wants to get in right now, but she's having a hard time. You really get in. Well, just
Mark, let Diane post her email address, and we just send her an invitation.
Okay, I'm going to try this first, just so we don't have her email public. But what I just did was I just sent another one. So just do a reverse chronological again. Diane, and you'll be able to get in with us. I guess you want to join us about your platform. This is good. I'm glad. We'd love to have you in. So there's a couple rules again. Just if you post any comments, any questions you have, some of you may just have questions. There's several questions right there. What length would you suggest for interviews? We can talk about that. I'll go to those questions for you in just a second, Ann. But what we'll do is, if you want to, anybody who wants to come in, just do reverse chronological. Make sure you're and then just click that link, and you should be able to join us. So it looks like that's a different link than the one I had. So this one will probably work. So while we're waiting for Diane, let me put you on the screen while I ask you some questions here, Ann. So Diane's questions are simply this: what length would you suggest for interviews? That's her first question.
Well, it all depends on how you're going to be using the interviews. And see, if you think about it as a web TV show, if you will, remember we're merging traditional TV with web TV, so you want to incorporate some of what is already existing on traditional TV. So let's say you have a 30-minute show. Actually, you know what? I have a slide here that will show you exactly what goes in a 30-minute show slide. That would make it a lot easier for people to understand. Let me just pull that out, and I'll go full screen with it. And everybody see this? There you go. Okay, so if you have like a 30-minute format, this is, you start off with a 1-minute intro, what it is, and then you have maybe 7, 8, 9 minutes of interview. Okay, so because you can't have just a 30-minute interview, quite frankly, unless people are really versed and are very exciting. You don't want to do half-hour, 1-hour interview. It takes a lot to carry a very exciting interview. So now I want you to understand that with teleseminars and webinars where you're just teaching, you need half-hour to 1 hour. Like Mark and I are going to be here for an hour and a half, working with you. But as a TV show, you want to keep them short, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 9 minutes, just traditional. There are a lot of options. And you always want to make sure you have breaks to keep your show interesting. You can do some demonstrations. So if you have a guest expert, you want to keep them on for 30 minutes. Don't just do interviews. Switch to some demonstrations. You want to exercise. That will keep your audience engaged. And one of the things you definitely want to incorporate are questions coming in from your audience. You can still keep the same guests, like Mark and I are doing right now. We're having you join, you're asking questions, and we're answering questions, we're interacting. So it keeps it exciting, it keeps it alive. But if it was just Mark and I just talking about one thing for half an hour, it wouldn't be as exciting, for most people. So it would not be as entertaining.
Well, and we just had Diane join us, and we also have somebody else joining us as well. It looks like Anchor, so we're going to be doing some of those things, but you can talk to Diane directly. One of the things I'd like to say from my perspective that, a 7 to 9 minute interview is actually a really good time frame there, because in 7 minutes is probably better than 9, actually, in most cases, because ultimately that is the current mindset that happens on a traditional TV show. There's usually only about 7 minutes in between commercials. So that's what people's normal, we'll call it attention span, is being trained to accept. So that's my recommendation for that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, great point, Mark. And as far as the commercials, now people don't like to watch commercials. We don't like to sit there and watch a 30-second commercial, but we would love a 30-second video tip. So that's why I suggest in between your segments, put in a video tip, whether it's from you or whether it's one of your guests or your upcoming guests, or whether it's from one of your sponsors. There's a way to get all of that in there. And by the way, the guest experts you have on your show could also be your sponsors, for that one or a future one. So there's all kinds of ways of making it look like a traditional, and is a traditional TV show, except it would be on the web.
That's neat. Well, Diane, why don't you unmute yourself so we can introduce you to everybody, and maybe we could do a little strategy session for you. How's that?
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Mark. Hi, and thank you so much. I've watched quite a few of your videos already, so we're really excited to be here. And it's Monday morning in New Zealand.
All right.
So yeah.
Wow. Good morning.
Good morning.
You're helping us to be ahead of the game here, which is nice, like time travel.
Yeah,
I love it.
great.
So Diane, tell us a little bit about your niche and what you're trying to do, and so we can kind of best help you figure out where some great places to go.
Okay, so my business is basically built around New Zealand being the first light, and that we have a great message to share with the world. So I have a platform called New Zealand the First Light, and we have visionaries and teachers that are collaborating, that are coming together to help bring messages of empowerment and spirituality, and that's the niche that we're in. And so that's how the business started, and then it became very clear to me that a web TV show would be the next way. I've been experimenting with different platforms, using GoToWebinar initially, and been using Google Hangouts for, it's almost like it's been a training ground for exactly this moment now. So I was so excited when I saw, what Anne and what you guys are actually doing, because it felt like, yes, this is absolutely the next step. So
Well,
I have
that's exciting. One of the things I'd like to ask you also, in addition to what you're focusing on, also kind of put in there a little bit about how you plan on either monetizing it, or we'll call it your goals for it, because depending on those goals, that's going to help us to help you kind of maybe figure out how you could make those goals happen with the show. So go ahead.
Great. So one of the things I was feeling, I'm feeling inspired to share is, aside from so I have different, putting myself in the middle of the circle, like Anne was showing, and then all the different aspects around it. I see inspired living web TV show as the focal point, and then having different, the people, the visionaries or thought leaders will actually have regular slots, and they actually take people on a journey, teaching them, training them, giving them tools and that to just help connect more fully with the authenticity of who they are. I was looking at featuring retreat centers, sacred sites of New Zealand, astrology, because people can learn so much more about themselves and the aspects when they were born through astrology, the different earth changes that are happening, numerology, youth and children. That to me is a whole new sector of seemingly the children that are here that have ADD, and ADHD, that they're actually here to teach us.
And if I may interrupt you just 1 second, so I know what I'm really intently listening for. What is the question that you actually have? Because as you're talking, I'm getting all kinds of ideas, but I don't know which direction, to focus on, because there's so many possibilities with where this information goes. Where would you like help?
With the length of interviews, which was answered earlier, and then the actual platform and the scheduling of it, how to start it off and then increase the show, the length of show. So that's what I'd really like assistance with.
Increase the length of the show. Well, actually,
the frequency.
The frequency. Oh, well, I would suggest you plan on doing 1 show a week. Okay? Planning 1 show a week makes it easy, makes it manageable, especially for busy professionals like us. Time is scarce. Now, the beauty of doing it that way, you can actually plan 1 day a month, and you can shoot all 4 episodes. You can plan 2 days a month. It makes it a lot easier, it makes it manageable. And also, when you're in the mode of producing, you can do a lot of it. And by the way, this is also what they do in traditional television. They will go into the studio and they will shoot 4, 5, 6 hours of a show in 1 day, and that will be for the week. If it's a daily show, that will be for the week. If it's a weekly show, that will be for the month. So taking what they're using in traditional TV, it works. It's not broken. Let's fix it and start with that. It'll be manageable. Now, here's the other thing. As you go, all the shows that you have archived, you can replay them. So as you each week you can come up with a new episode, if you will, and then you can replay one from a month ago, and then each week you schedule another one. So next thing you know, it's like in 4 months you can have one new show a week, and then you can have four of them replaying from the previous 4 months. So all of it's a lot easier to build your content than you feel.
Great, thank you, Ann.
You're very welcome.
All right, well, thank you, Diane. And we also have Anchor with us. Hello, Anchor. Can you hear us? Okay, you're actually, I muted you on the way in, so you probably need to go up at the top of your screen and unmute yourself.
All right. Hey, how are you?
Fantastic. Hi, Anchor. Tell us where you're from and what your niche is and a little bit about you.
Okay. My name's Anchor Bell Jr. I'm from Chapel Hill, North Carolina. And my niche, what I've been working on the past year and a half is building a platform in order for people, members from all over the world, to schedule specified meditation events that I have pre-recorded and offer at the top of the hour, 24 hours a day. And I've been kind of struggling with the idea because just the whole idea of meditation is, closing your eyes. And so in my mind, I've been kind of struggling with the idea of having people, pick and choose the days and times that fit their work schedules or school schedules, and coming together and meditating by themselves, but with their eyes closed. So I've been struggling with the idea of, do I want it to be a guided meditation? Do I want it to be, would I have some sort of video playing? Which kind of doesn't make sense because their eyes are going to be closed during the whole event. And then so I've built the platform, I have the website, I use a webinar, Easy Webinar, Casey Zeman's webinar, in order to make that happen so that people can pick and choose the specified days and times that they want to meditate. And I have an interactive map that shows all the ISPs of people all over. It's like a world map that shows, okay, who am I meditating with right here at the moment. So it's kind of a cool idea. But as far as the feasibility of it, that's what I've been struggling with in my mind. But then whenever I discovered the web TV idea, what we're doing here, and thinking of a show, I'm starting to lean more towards some sort of entrepreneurial interview type of thing, where I would contact different entrepreneurs and just interview them, like you guys are suggesting. And I think that might be a better way to monetize things rather than the meditation event, because I have it set up as a monthly membership. So that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. And by the way, Anchor, he's already registered to be one of the cast members, we call them, in the program. He was one of the people that so early on and jumped in there. So congrats on that, Anchor, and he's been watching all the videos and participating, so I'm thrilled to see you here and about it. And you've been doing, obviously, a lot of thinking. So is the question whether or not you should be going with the entrepreneurial area, or what is exactly the question that you're asking?
Well, I wasn't really asking a question. I was more or less just giving the down low on what I'm doing. But I guess as far as a question, it would be, based on what I've said, what do you think would be the best route to go as far as, helping people and, of course, monetizing this as well? Because, to be honest, I'm, not in this just to help people. I want to earn some money as well. So the meditation route just seems like, I don't know if that would work so well, as opposed to interviewing entrepreneurs from different areas, and then of course the sponsors, affiliates. It seems like there'd be more of a revenue stream with that type of content and topic. So I'm wondering, what do you think is the best?
Yeah, I would, Anchor, obviously the meditation route is a little uphill battle, especially generating cash out of it. And at the same time, the entrepreneurial realm is wide open for a lot of, actually that's what revenue is all about these days. Even Harvard has opened up whole entrepreneurial schools because it's not only on the small business route but the big business route as well. So that's really if you had to guess which area is bigger, you're going to definitely go the entrepreneurial route. The question is that now this is where it gets tricky because which segment in the entrepreneurial route would you go? In other words, what kind of people would you want to interview? And you have to have a theme of your show because ultimately it's about positioning and branding, and that means literally gathering a lot of people of the same mindset in one area of their mind anyway. It says, you know what, yeah, that's something I need. That's something I want to participate in. That's some kind of show I need to watch, listen to, take the advice of, watch expert interviews on, or what have you. So that's where you now have to focus it down quite a bit. So maybe you have some ideas in that area.
Well, actually, what I was thinking of is modeling. I don't know if you've heard of John Lee Dumas. He has a podcast that's out, and he focuses on basically online entrepreneurs, people that are starting their own business online. And that's the kind of route that I was thinking of taking, actually modeling his entire podcast show and just flipping it to the web TV. So having a series of 10 questions, a 30-minute show, same questions for each entrepreneur, and just giving insights to people that want to start their own online business, because that seems to be a huge trend that's taking place right now, and people want to know, the struggles that people had along the way, the challenges, different ways to, do things better, different resources, different tips. The list goes on and on and on for things that you could help people with as far as becoming an entrepreneur, people that are interested in becoming entrepreneurs, especially online entrepreneurs.
Yeah. So, Ann, what's your take on it? And then I can come back on that in just a minute.
Yeah. Well, it's because I know more about Anchor and what he registered for, what his vision was. I would say instead of just seeing what's out there, what's happening, incorporate it with who you are. So somehow, during the program, you actually are going to be walking through the process where you're going to be identifying who you are, what niche, what position you want to claim. As a matter of fact, lucky you, Mark is our guest expert next Tuesday on the positioning. So he shares with you his step-by-step on how to identify and claim the territory that you want to claim and the title that you want to claim. So there is a whole mindset in, who you are and the market. Of course, Mark, I'm going to hand this over to you in just a second. But I would suggest, Anchor, that you stay true to your passion and, merge meditation and spirituality with supporting a busy entrepreneur, because we get very stressed. We're working unusual hours, and believe me, especially with this launch, it's like there's no days off, and anything can happen. So if you find a way to marry both, like you have the meditations available, and then maybe you could do guests who will make it easier for people, to incorporate different types of, ways of relaxing, distressing, meditating. So it will be, best of the both worlds, because the more stressed we are in our work environment, we're less effective, we're less productive. So you can easily show how some of the things you do are going to make it easier for your business to flourish and for you to live a happier, healthier life. That's what I would say.
Okay, a couple of things. And I would first say that two things. Number one is three things, actually. The first thing I was going to say is your microphone is not actually working. It's having some kind of challenge there. I'm not sure what that is, but it's just a little bit it's a little muffled. Second thing is that what I want to do is I want to first share a couple things with Anchor here, because Anchor ultimately, this is about really focus. Now online, that's a big one. That's a big one to hit. There's a lot of people in that route, and it's a really large field. Now the fact is that the gentleman you mentioned, has a podcast already. It'd be obviously easy for him to go into web TV, and it may be too similar. I'm not saying the niche may not be too similar, because that's a really big niche, the online niche. There's obviously there's so many categories of that you can easily be different. But ultimately, it's about being different. So taking the exact model of a show and just in tweaking it to, or just carrying it over to web TV may not be the best goal. But Ann absolutely will help you with that during the program. She'll walk you through what you need to fix on that. Because ultimately, remember, what works in audio, just like what worked on radio and TV, is a little bit different, right? It's got to have its own unique angle and spin on it. Same thing happens from audio podcast to now, say, web TV. You've got to do things a lot differently. You have a now visual component that you need to take advantage of. So the exact model, not only is it not going to work exactly the same way, but the fact is you need to be different. You need to differentiate yourself, with them, right? So when you do that, what will happen is you'll make yourself in a unique. And if there are any people that are on his list as well, they can see the difference between you two. And what that means is you're going to take a lot of the tools, ideas, strategies, and opportunities, and different approaches and blueprints that Ann is going to show you, and take some of those as well. So you can take the idea of the niche, no problem, because that's one of the best things to do, is to take an existing niche that you already know is profitable, but then literally now create a different show around it. Taking the exact same show would be a little almost, it wouldn't, in my opinion, you'd be kind of hurting yourself, not only on the from the general media approach, in other words, just because of the type of media web TV is, but also because of the people in that niche who are already exposed to the other man in the podcast realm. It's going to look a little not plagiaristic, but something along those lines. So my suggestion is you be completely different. Take one of the blueprints that Ann will show you in the program, and then you'll be able to do some really neat stuff with it. Now, the second thing I would also do is I'd have a different spin on the online part. So in other words, I would say come up with really where the future is. Actually, during the first session, I'm going to go through a complete training on positioning, and there's some really amazing stuff there that I think you'll be really excited about, which will literally help you decide. But ultimately, you want to see where the future of online marketing is. You want to find the future, and whatever the future, the most important aspect of the future of your market is, this is the case for everybody else here who's watching as well, is that what you want to do is you want to find that future, tweak the positioning of online with the future of whatever the future is of it. We can show you how you can look into that, and then have that be the focus of the show. Because now, if the future of the industry is what you talk about regarding the industry, eventually the whole industry is going to be where you are. That means it makes you the leader, right? It makes you the leader in that sense. So that's the number one approach I would help you with that. Plus, when we go through the positioning and branding module, which is the first module in the program, then we'll walk you through some more aspects of that. So, does that answer your question, Anchor, or do you think we need to go further?
That answers my question. Yeah, thank you for that. I appreciate that.
All right. So a couple other things. Everyone else who's still watching, we want to check your questions out. So make sure below this video on megahangout.com/webtv/live, just make sure you go reverse chronological order, and you can do two things. You can first type in your questions, and we'll answer them. Secondly, if you want to join us inside for like either a strategy session or to see how this can work for you, then just click the link that you'll see there, and you can come in and join us in this. We only probably have another 20 minutes left on this hangout, so I'd like to be able to get at least one more in. In the meantime, two things. One is, Ann, what we're going to do is we're going to try to bring Diane also in as a cast member. I talked to her about this a little bit last week, and I just was texting her about this as well. So what you want to do is we want to make sure we get her the application for that. So any of you also who would like to come in as a cast member, see, because the program itself, there's two parts of it. One part of the program is that you can watch everybody else learning, working with all the experts, developing their content, and seeing the whole show, kind of like not only a fly on the wall, but getting all the same trainings they're getting as well. The other way you can come in, and there's some qualifications involved, obviously, because it's going to be in front of the whole audience, is to become a cast member where literally you are interacting with everybody involved, and therefore the examples are your examples, the opportunities, working with the guest experts who are really top-notch in what they do. They'll be able to answer your specific questions. Of course, everybody else is watching this. So If you want to do that, make sure you email us into Ann. Just go to you can actually reply to any of the emails we sent you, or from my perspective, you can email support@jointventuresummit.com, and we'll be glad to get you into that. Otherwise, Ann, if you could take care of Diane, that'd be really great to make sure she gets into that somehow.
Very good, Diane. So if you could just put your contact in the chat box, I'll be sure to contact you right afterwards.
Perfect. Okay. All right. Thank you, Diane. And thank you, Ann. Okay, next thing on the list is what I'd like to do is, now there's several other key aspects or different models, we'll call them maybe industry types, where we know we're going to be partnering with and creating some amazing web TV shows in this area. So I'd like Ann to go through a couple of those and some models of the different other major niches where we're looking for great content. We already have platforms for hundreds of millions of people who are watching in different areas that we're looking for. So, and why don't you kind of talk about a few of those and maybe some of the different ways of people may be able to tap into that.
Okay. Well, I'd like to talk about the financial industry. A lot of people are struggling with getting online because of the regulation, the compliance issues and things like that. So a lot of people are like, well, I'd love to do it, but I can, well, here's the easy way and safe way to get started. Yes, you have to be very, very aware of the, compliance, whatever your industry is. But if you are a guest expert on a TV show, you're being interviewed. And you see a lot of financial experts being interviewed. A lot of people, whether it's stockbrokers or, any kind of money management, let's just put it that way, being interviewed on television. Well, they're compliant, right? Now, here's the other part, is that if you take any kind of articles, any kind of pamphlets, any kind of online ebooks, anything that's available in your industry, and use that content, you are compliant, okay? So it doesn't just have to be the financial industry. Any industry where you have compliance issues, you take information that's already compliant and you are safe. And of course, check, with whoever you need to speak with. I'm not a, attorney, I'm not a financial advisor, but if you stay along those lines, you'll be safe, because there are quite a few people in the medical industry as well. So that was a huge issue. A lot of concern with people. I wanted to touch that one. And let me see.
Actually, before you go on any further than that, another aspect of that which is really important, any of you in the legal, accounting, tax, medical, right, insurance, all those regulated kind of industries, it's the same thing, and there's two key elements there, actually three. The first element is what Ann just told you, which is to use, existing, data, existing formats, existing, information on that subject that's already been considered bona fide, right? The second, though, is that on every show, one of the big things that media has going for it is a freedom of speech issue. Now, you may not be able to sell vitamins and say that it'll cure cancer, but you can actually have a show that talks about why you think and why your experts think that vitamins cure cancer. And because of the media, First Amendment, at least in the United States, where you have the right to, free speech here in the United States, and if you broadcast out of the United States, then whoever's watching internationally can see these things as well. The fact is you can do some pretty amazing things. So that's number one. So keep that in mind. And of course, every country's different. They got different rules on free speech and all that. The third thing, though, is always give a disclaimer and always explain, look, if you're going to be doing this for medical reasons, you should seek the advice of a doctor and all that stuff, and whatever legal, advice or different maybe, wording that can be there. You can say, look, and maybe your guest is a doctor, which is even more helpful, and maybe you're not. So you'd say, look, I'm not a doctor, but what I've done is I've brought in some of the best doctors in the world who are experts at ... and therefore you can, and we're sharing what their expert opinion is, what their legal opinion is, what their medical opinion is on these different topics, and now all of a sudden it not only adds credibility to it. All these things add credibility to it, but you won't have any trouble with legal things in that way. Where it can be troublesome, this is just one warning, if you don't do those three things, number one. And the third thing is if you start actually selling the products themselves, as opposed to sponsorship or ads, because you can do those things. But if you actually start selling the products in your TV shows directly, then you run potentially afoul of some of the issues where you're claiming the product will do this and you sold the product. That can be a troublesome issue. So keep those things in mind, and I think you'll have no problem. So go ahead, Ann.
No, absolutely. You covered it. I don't really have anything else to add to that.
Okay.
You covered every aspect of it. Now, one other thing that I'm getting a lot of people asking, is about them looking and sounding comfortable on camera and how they would look. Well, I'm going to pull up a slide here. Right now, by the way, if you are using Hangout in any capacity, if you're using any kind of video online, kudos to you. You're ahead of the 90% of the people out there. But it takes very little effort. It takes very little, learning to look professional. Like here, I'm going to pull up a screen here. Okay. Now, a lot of people are showing up on Google Hangout just like that, as a talking head, which is great. But what I'm saying here is that with minor effort, with what we're teaching, with the same equipment, you can look like that. So this is a huge difference, and that actually, with me broadcasting from one place, I've been basically pulling a couple of our experts, and that's what we do on the show, by the way. I'll just go into the studio, and I'll bring in a couple of the guest experts in with me, and we broadcast using the same webcam that I'm using right now to broadcast from my home. And it's very affordable. Literally, a few $100s will get you started, but it's knowing how to use tools that makes a difference, and that's what makes us and what we're doing right now way ahead of what other people are showing and out there. So if you're thinking about doing a web TV show and you're afraid of, how you're going to look, it's going to look unprofessional, because I know that's one of the things that people struggle. But you know what? The other thing, hold on, I want to pull up another slide here so you can see what's possible and how quickly it's possible. It is.
And one quick little note there. Just keep in mind your microphone's having a little challenges. Yeah, it just goes in and out. So just try to keep it really close to your mouth or speak a little louder or something, because it's not working for me.
Okay, so I'll just sit here holding it for now. I got to figure out what's wrong with the mic. Now, within the program, literally with one module that we're teaching people some of the things to do. If you can see on your screen, right at the top right corner, that's Barbara Wainwright, or Wainwright Global, mind you. It's when she first got into the program and learning how to adjust her camera a little bit. Knowing how to use the controls. Look at the screen at the bottom. That's like immediately, like in a matter of half an hour of learning what to do, where to place, and how to adjust it. And going through the process and building confidence, knowing how to speak and knowing what to say, brings a level of confidence and that transformational. And there she is in this. It's a matter of a couple of weeks later being interviewed in the studio. Do you see the transformation? So what I'm saying here is that it is so possible. It can happen so quickly. So if you're afraid, there are some great exercises that will make it very easy for you to literally overcome the hurdles you have within the subconscious. So it's like, I can't, yes, you can. So.
That's great. Well, one of the important things we have to keep in mind here is that, the purpose of this session, we have also Nabi who's trying to get on, and Nabi, I just gave you a direct link to be able to join us inside for a strategy session. Hopefully we can get you in here. If not, anybody who can't make it right now, try to call or email us at support, SUPPORT, at jointventuresummit.com, and we'll be sure to have a strategy session with you regarding this. Because remember, there's a couple of key things. The program, you hopefully have been watching the program over the last week here. We've had it available in the trainings. This is more about a strategy sessions, but really it really is a no-brainer kind of deal where it's such an amazing program because of what we're trying to do. At the same time, we realize that so many people don't understand how you can actually use it in your specific niche. And so if you don't know how to use web TV in your specific niche, if you come in right now, we'll give you some great ideas on how you can do that. That's my big goal for this. Now, if you also have questions that haven't been answered that are related to anything Web TV, come on in, or at least post them below, and I'll make sure that we get them answered for you before we end here. Okay, that being said, go ahead and end with maybe something other than you talked about finance. Maybe we can talk about a couple of the other niches that we're having some big feedback on.
Well, as far as different niches, basically right now I know what we're looking for and what we were contacted to, as far as content. We're looking for health and wellness experts, empowerment experts, business, marketing experts, money management, investment experts, nonprofits. So all of these are very, very needed and wanted shows right now because nobody has it. Nobody has it. Seriously, it's wide open for the taking. So these are the people that we're looking for. Actually, Mark, this is probably a good time to talk about the distribution channel that's available for people. And so okay. Yeah, I'm going to go full screen again, or I'll just go split screen on this one. About a few months ago, somebody found me and contacted me on Facebook. And he wanted to put out access to expert interviews. And by the way, the same interviews, the same process that we use to get our experts and have them show up in a powerful way interviews is what we're using in this program. But anyways, those videos were online. So I get contacted on Facebook. So let's look at this. You have videos on Facebook, you have videos on YouTube, you have videos anywhere. People are interacting with you. The media is interacting with you. So I got a call, text, like a little personal message on Facebook. I'd love to have your interviews on my channel. We're launching this whole network. And I said, can we speak? I said, sure. Okay, we set up a time. And he said, you know what? I am looking for great content. I can't find it, and I'd love to put it there. I said, yeah, I know. There's a shortage of great content, and we're launching GVN TV. And that's why I've put together this whole 12-part training to make sure our show hosts not only show up in a very powerful way, but they know how to produce their own shows. They know how to monetize their own shows. And when I explained to him what it was, he said, I want your people on my channel. Now, I'm hoping that all of you are looking over my shoulder, the big red sign with big, bold, yellow letters on it. He has access to 200 million monthly viewers. And he's looking for content. He's looking for content. And we're looking for you. Just like I said, we're looking for experts in business growth, money management, health and wellness, self-growth, nonprofits. So all of you, just like what I just repeated. So if you're any of these, there's so much wanted, so much content is wanted. You are needed. So I hope you're getting excited about this.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Well, Ann, we just had another victim. No, I'm just kidding. Nabi join us here because he was trying to get in and had a little bit of trouble with the technology, but he got in and he's ready for action here. So Nabi, tell us, welcome first of all, and tell us a little bit about who you are and what your niche is.
Mark, and good morning. How are you? Bright and early, 6 a.m. here in Australia. I've actually been on Ann's program in the past, Mark, and we've actually spoken, but my niche is predominantly working with women and people in showing them how to eliminate their debts far more quickly, in fact, less than half the time. I used to be a financial planner for 20 years, got out when that got boring, and decided to help people with managing their money because that was always the most important question they had. So when I couldn't find something available, I actually developed my own software. And from there on in, I've just been working with people and helping them. And as a result of that, I've actually ended up starting my own company over in the Philippines doing outsourcing for people. So we now go through a full cycle where if you've been working with us, we'll actually interview you on our Money Rules TV, which is our Google Hangout online, and so we'll interview you. That gets you out to a global audience, and we then turn around and we can take the content of that particular recording, because a lot of people say, but I don't have a product. Well, all of a sudden, you now have a product. Just from doing the Google Hangout, you have a transcription, you have an ebook, which can go up onto Amazon. We'll take your video and we'll top and tail it with an intro and an outro. We'll take your audio and turn that into a podcast for you. So if you don't already have them, apart from having a website, you'll now have a YouTube channel and you'll have a iTunes podcast channel. So for anybody who thinks they can't do it, there it is, all hand in glove, done for them.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I remember you when you were with me during Alex Mendoza. We were talking about the Hangout side. It was amazing what you were talking about. Glad you made it happen, and that is, and you get it now. You're evangelist for the whole concept, which is great. So, tell us a little bit about your. Okay, go ahead, Ann. You go first, and I have a question for you.
No, I was going to say, just he is such an action taker. He's just taking and run with it. As a matter of fact, last season he was a student. This season he's coming back as one of the guest experts on a module. So he's just like, I love it. We love supporting our own. But he's just, that's what happens when somebody takes action with something. So kudos to you, and I'll be thrilled to have you on and sharing your great information.
Yeah,
thanks,
that's great.
And I was going to say, look, without people like Ann and like yourself, Mark, people are not going to learn about this sort of thing going on. And they're not going to be able to build up their own self-confidence, because it's always going to be, I wish I knew how to do it. But because of people like yourself and Ann, they're able to sit here right now and see it happening live. It's something that the world is going to be taken over by the people. It's no longer going to be owned by the big corporations. And people are actually going to be able to have their own views and opinions expressed. You're no longer controlled by those corporations what they want to show. People are hungry for information, and they want other people to show it to them on a level that's not a commercial basis. So what you're doing is absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, that's great. So Navi, tell us a little bit about maybe how we can maybe help you do one more thing with your show while you're here. Maybe answer us a couple questions that you may think would be important. We appreciate your feedback, because that's expert feedback for a lot of people who are doing some of the same things you're now doing. But if there's any, first of all, how you monetize it, what's your favorite monetization aspect of what you're planning on doing and what you are doing?
Okay, look, I suppose with what I just said, in fact, by productizing the actual show and all the different components, we've actually monetized that for people, because when they say, we don't have a product, and we turn around and say, well, how quickly would you like a product? And just by giving it to them like that, here's the cost for doing this, this, and this. And that's what the outsourcing office is all about. Because one of the greatest things is I want to show you how you can earn more money, which you can put towards eliminating your debt even faster, and having it run as a passive income. So imagine how much more quickly you can get that debt down. So in doing that, it becomes, okay, well, how do I do that? Well, you should be setting up a website and having products on it. Yeah, okay, but I don't have a product. Well, you do now, but I don't know how to do it, and you don't need to know how to do it. You are best off in front of people, talking to people about what you do, what your expertise, education, and experience will give to them. So we will turn all of that into a product for you. You don't even need to worry about it. We'll take care of it. We'll just charge you for it, which is our monetization model. But it allows you that time to just get on with doing what you do best.
That's great. That's really good. Well, we appreciate you giving us that input, and not only that, seeing the vision for where this can take just about anybody in this model, as well as in doing web TV and Google Hangouts and all that, because it really can help you create your product as well as get that market out into the marketplace in a very simple way. So, by the way, do you have any questions you would have that we could maybe help strategize on or kind of brainstorm on while you're here?
No, not really. I'm coming back to the States in July, August, and September. So I'll be talking to a lot of people while I'm over there.
All right. Well, we hope to see you. Are you going to be at Ann's event coming up?
I am going to be at Ann's event. That'll be one of the places I'm heading for, as well as San Diego.
Okay, good. Well, me too. We got Got several events coming up that we're going to be that way. I'm actually leaving for 3 months for California next month, and I'll be there at several events, and Ann's event, and of course Alex's event, my own events, and several other I'm speaking at. So that's really awesome. Well, we look forward to seeing you there, Nabi. Well, with that being said, we're actually at our 1 hour that we planned, but I'm sure you have some last words, Ann, that you'd like to say for everybody, and then I'll have something to say too.
Yeah, no, actually, if it's okay with everybody, I think we'll probably need maybe another 5 or 10 minutes to kind of talk with them about it. So one of the things that I want to really stress for people to understand how important it is right now. Well, even in the traditional TV world, Google Hangouts is taking a huge leap. You know, recently we were just invited to present at a Digital Hollywood conference. For the first time ever, we were invited to, you know, not we, anybody, Google Hangouts for the first time ever was represented at Digital Hollywood conference. That's who's who in TV and film world. They go twice a year to get the latest on what's going on, so they're staying on the cutting edge. Well, guess what? Google Hangout was there, and we were the only ones who were invited to present, by the way, just because of the way we're approaching Google Hangout from a perspective of a web TV show. So what I'm saying is that Google is noticing, the traditional television is noticing, so it's going to make it a lot easier for you to bridge the gap if you jump on right now to be one of the first online, like Mark was saying. Just get out there. That's how important it is. So, Mark, I'll segue over to you.
Well, what I would like to say is just a couple things. So, if you actually have been on the fence at all about this, a couple things I'd like to say. One is if you go to megahangout.com/web TV show, right now is the time to create a web TV show. There's no question about that. Hopefully you were watching over the last week. We had available the replays. We took it down for the sake of this session here, but ultimately I'll try to put another replay up to that when we're finished here in case you didn't get to see it. But more importantly, what is important here is that you realize that you need to get started on this immediately, and here's why. Bottom line is this particular venue, we'll call it web TV, is going to be the leading modality for many decades to come. And the reason why is because TV was the #1 modality for many decades, and the only thing that's going to really even close to usurping it is, of course, web TV, and it's because of several key things. One is the ubiquity of it. I mean, you don't have to have your TV set with you. You can actually do it on your iPhone if you want to. You can watch your favorite web TV shows. You can do it while you're driving. You can do it with your iPad. You can do it wherever you are. You can do it at the beach if you want to. I mean, you can watch web TV anywhere. Okay, which means that the total numbers of people watching TV shows is going to enhance dramatically just because of the way it's done over the web. And ultimately, the way people have been trained their whole lives. You know, you've read all those stories in the past years of people watching TV for 8 hours a day and all these other things. Those are still real numbers. The only difference is they're not on traditional TV anymore. They're now on web TV type platforms and on the internet at large. So what you want to do is you want to be in your market, industry, or niche, you want to be able to have the #1 modality, the #1 engagement tool, in this case it's web TV, in order to help you be the leader of your market and to be able to monetize that market, to be able to create relationships with all the people who can not only help you, but more importantly, help your audience. See, if you can bring in all the great talent that the industry has to make bare, you can now take that talent and use it to help every single one of your viewers. And when you do that, they will come back over and over and over again to you, because you're the one who gives them that information that they really can't get anywhere else. So I want you to really look at that. Now, if for some reason you just don't get it, this call was really about helping people who just didn't get how it could happen. And we ended up getting 3 people who get it. They're so excited about it, they just want to make sure everybody gets it, right? They're here because they get it, you know, and that's really what it's about. But at the same time, I know there's some of you are not getting it. I've seen people ask questions about, you know, I'm in this little niche in this local city, how's that going to work? Well, there's methods for having it work in a local city. In fact, if you are the #1, and this, I'm going to give you a personal thing, I will personally pay for anybody to join Ann's program. Okay, when you go to megahangout.com/web TV show, it's going to ask you for your name and email address and phone number, and if you want, we can give you a strategy session on how this can help you. But if you are the leading player in any market or industry or niche, and you in a local market, I can guarantee you that I could not only help make it successful there, but I could help you take that nationally and maybe even internationally in ways that you never thought possible, especially if your advice and your expertise and your monetization is already working in one of those areas, because we can simply duplicate it. That's how great this is. There's some really amazing things that can happen there. So if you're not sure if this is going to work for you, make sure you either join the program, come on board with us, go to that link I just gave you, and we'll be glad to have you come on board with our program here. Get excited about creating some web TV shows with us, and then I can then start to help you joint venture and strategic partner with some people who can bring tons of traffic to you as far as viewers. I can bring lots of potential partners and interviewees and sponsors and things like that to your shows, and a lot of the other things we have planned for you. So that's what I want you to do. This is a really important thing for you to get involved with. If you don't know, go to that link I just gave you again. I'll actually put another link down below, and then when you go there, read everything you see there, and if it doesn't resonate, or if you're just not sure how it's going to work for you, let us know, and we'll definitely make sure that we help you get in with the strategy session to help you see how it can work. So that being said, Ann, any last words, or you want to just sign off?
Well, no, I don't want to just sign off. I want to tell them how experiential the program is, because people like they have a disconnect as to how they're going to be experiencing this program. It's so unusual. It's designed for anybody to be able to go through it. Now, here I'm going to bring up my handy dandy, switching to the other view. Okay, so the easiest and most powerful and lasting way for anybody to learn something is by experiencing it themselves, by doing it yourself. Well, the second most powerful way and lasting way for you to learn something is by watching other people to do it. So this is why this whole program is designed, where you're watching 10 experts in 2 groups walking through 12 steps. The entire 12 steps, from getting ready to knowing how to produce your videos to how to monetize it, because after all, it is a web TV show, and the reason we're putting on a web TV show is to grow our business. It's not because we just want to be on the screen, right? So the whole thing is laid out. It's a 12-week program. But if you're watching the screen behind, over my shoulder there, it's laid out like The Apprentice, where you're watching people do the work right in front of you. I actually got the idea of watching The Apprentice because in 1 hour I got so much great information, but I was like, I'd love to be sitting in that room with them when they are having those mastermind sessions. For 2 days, they're talking and coming up with all kinds of strategies. All kinds of great ideas are being put on the table there. What are they saying? That's a gold mine. And what about those phone calls they're making? They're getting contributions for 10,000, 20,000, 100,000. What are they saying on the phone? Those are the things I want to know. That's what's important. So I figured that in the training that we're putting together, and by the way, this is a training that we've been doing for over 8 years. We took some of the most amazing people from being afraid of getting in front of the camera to actually going national on television, because it's a solid program. But the beauty of this is that you get to watch this whole thing happen right in front of your eyes, and you get to watch each week as they experience what the program is. Now here, so you know what it's like. I'm going to go to the next one. Okay. Every Thursday, you get a training module. It's videos with whatever tools you need for that particular module. And usually, it will take maybe 2 or 3 hours to do the work, because this whole thing is designed for the busy professional. Okay, bottom line, we're all busy, and we're going to get busier. So it's designed to help you leverage your time, not make it worse. So it takes you about 2 or 3 hours. Most of the work you can do while you're watching the videos. And a couple of them, it takes a little bit longer, like scripting, for example. But you have from Thursday until the following Tuesday to finish your work. And Tuesdays is our live days. So on Tuesday, from 1 o'clock Pacific time to 2 o'clock Pacific time, you get to watch 2 groups of 5 people having a mastermind about the work they've done. Each person takes turns. They talk about what they've done, and they get feedback from the other mastermind members. Now, if you've ever been in a mastermind session, you know how powerful that is. So you get to watch as this is happening with these 10 amazing people, and you actually can follow any one of them, or you get ideas from all 10 of them. It's up to you. So next, what happens for each one of the modules, I bring in 2 or 3 experts, and it depends. Some modules just one expert depending on the content. But from 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock Pacific time, we have a discussion, expert discussion, like you would be watching a TV talk show discussing a topic. And so we fine-tune the whole process. We talk about it, and we have a discussion. I ask questions, we answer, and get great information from the experts as you're watching. So you're able to fine-tune whatever you have come up with for that module by watching the mastermind session, and then fine-tune what you've done by watching the expert panel. And it doesn't stop there. Next, we bring in the 10 members in with the experts, and we start what I call the spotlight sets. Each one has 5 minutes to get laser coaching from the experts. Now, if you've ever been at a seminar and you have watched 1 or 2 people go up on stage and get laser, they call them hot seats. They get laser coaching right there on the spot. You know how powerful it is, the transformation. Well, each week you get to see 10 of those on the topic of that particular module. So by the time you're done, you have everything fine-tuned. You know what you want to do, how you want to do it, because you get to watch all this. And this is what makes this program so powerful, because it's not just an online program where you just go watch the videos and do work on your own without any kind of verification or anybody to kind of check in with if it's working or not. So you have this happening right in front of you, not just once. By watching the mastermind, that's 1. Watching the experts, that's 2. And hot seats, spotlight sets, that's 3. So there's 3 ways to make sure everything is falling into place. And nobody does anything there like this. And you watch the entire thing, the whole program is get ready, get on the set, get paid, because you need that. You need to show up on camera in a powerful way, knowing what to say, knowing how to look, knowing exactly what to do, have a plan. And then you need to know how to produce your videos in a very powerful, safe, cost-effective way. And of course, you need to know how to monetize it. You have a plan, because having your web show is a business. You would never catch anybody producing a TV show without knowing exactly how much they're going to be spending on producing the show, and knowing exactly how much money they're going to be making from the show. So your show should not be costing you money, it should be making you money. And this is part of your learning, having a business plan as to what you're going to do. And then, of course, how you're going to get the leads and all the other things that comes along with it, as far as marketing, getting yourself out there, different ways to get yourself out there, even getting sponsors and affiliates for your show. And it's just, everything is laid out for you. And here's the other thing that's really huge about this. You become part of a community. We are going to be having a lot of people go through this. We want to take over the web TV world, because nobody's claiming those territories right now, or at least, very few are. We want the whole globe, web TV, taken over by people who are being trained by us, because they're just amazing, amazing people we're attracting. And having a community where not only you look and sound great on camera, but the people you interview look and sound great on camera. As you know, some of the people that you watched on web TV, they are talking heads. And you may look great, but if they're not coming across in a powerful way, that's going to take away from the quality of your show. Well, you're going to have a lot of people that you can interview. You can be, guest expert on their show as well. So all of a sudden, it just becomes a really powerful network. And that's one of the things that's really important about what we're putting together here, the opportunity, the networking opportunity, the global network that we're putting together. So it's just very, very exciting. And another thing that I want you to understand here, just to put things in perspective, I'm going to full screen here. I had just put down some numbers there so you understand. If you were to go out there and prepare yourself to produce your own web TV show, you would need to, go get some, mindset training. You have to get some media training. You need to know how to write scripts. So all of these things, they would cost you anywhere from 500 to 1,000 to literally even just getting a scriptwriter could cost you $20,000, but you will learn how to do this in the program. I hope you're looking at the numbers and they're clear. And just producing your videos, setting up your home studio, $1,000 to $2,000 will tell you how to get started with only a few $100s and go up from there depending on what you're needing. You'll know how to go into a studio if that's what you want to do. So in producing your videos, and you'll even, we'll even have segments available for you on editing the videos. Even if you don't want to edit yourself, knowing what it takes is going to make it a lot easier to communicate with video editors, and that's going to cut down your cost, editing costs dramatically, because communication is the key, and it's going to make it so much easier. You'll know what to say, how to say it, and of course, get paid portion of it, turning it into cash. It's a whole business plan laid out, and if you want to hire a business consultant to put that together, you can easily pay from $5,000 to $25,000 for it easily. How do I know that? But I will charge $5,000 for developing a business blueprint, and up from there, like any good business consultant would, and of course, multi-channel publicity to get out there, to get people, to spread the word for you. Whether you get a publicist or whether you get a social media manager, you would be paying them $500 to $2,000 a month. But now you become a part of a community as well, and of course the co-op marketing, that's priceless. And these are the things that are right there in front of you, and it's just a huge opportunity for all of us, and we need you actually to make this all work. And seriously, because we are at a time where we're building our community, we're launching the TV network, and great content is needed. Remember, they're contacting me, asking me for content to broadcast to over 200 million viewers. So we want to make sure we have a lot of people getting in there and producing great videos. Well, this whole thing, because we're partnering, we're partnering in this, it's only $497. And if you see the $12,500 up top, I took the minimal in each one of those categories to add it up. So if you could even find people in each one of those categories, if you experts, you could even know what to ask for, it would cost you tens of thousands of dollars, and it would not flow as well, because part of what makes this program work really well is everything flows together. It's all designed to work together. It's a system. I'm a systems person. I used to, implement quality assurance systems in developing countries, so I know what it takes to go from beginning to end in a full chain. No broken links. So basically, that's what we're talking about here. And you see the price, $497. This is a partner price, because at this stage, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for partners. We're looking for great content. We're willing to teach you how to produce that great content, so all of us grow at the same time. Whew, that felt good. So I'm going to hand it over to you, Mark.
Well, thank you, Ann, and that was really good. And of course, if you want to join this program, which it's one of those really it's one of those kick yourself in the rear moments a year from now if you don't. Because it's such one of those. It's such a no-brainer situation, because when you start seeing these web TV shows popping up all over the place, and then you're going to see one probably show up in a niche that's similar or closer, or your niche, and a year or two from now, and you're going to say, you know what, that could have been me, and I don't want that to be the case for you. And if you at all, now, some of you make that happen, some of you may not be even interested in making that happen. That's absolutely fine. But it's an opportunity that we wouldn't be doing ourselves, or we wouldn't be doing you the service that we like to do as your trusted advisors in helping you understand this without letting you know what's going on in this marketplace. My job, and where I'm going to make the money, of course, $497 doesn't make any of us really any money here, because the 12 weeks of really hands-on training and all this stuff that goes into this, it barely covers really the cost to help us do it. Where we make money is helping you partner with the big boys, the big networks, bringing sponsors into this, helping you get tapped into other networks, because strategic partnering is my main business, and that's why I created Web TV Mastermind, and that's why Ann is is the one who trains everybody who I want in thought leadership, any expert, any of my speakers, coaches, and partners of any kind in web TV, because I want the best. And there's only a couple prerequisites before I can start tapping you into some great people. And that is, one, you have a great show with good content, well and professionally produced. And second of all, you have to have a way to monetize it. And if you got those two things, which Ann's program will help you do, then I can really do some of the things that I do really well, and that's why this is so important. Once again, the number you were asking what the actual link is, just go to megahangout.com/webtv show. So megahangout.com/webtv show, and it'll just ask you for your information, and then you'll go to a page that explains everything that Ann just told you about and more, and the details, and of course the price, and you can just get enrolled in the program. So this has really been an important call, because I wanted a number of you to see how you could easily monetize this. Probably didn't do all the things that we wanted to do in that area, but really there's some amazing opportunities here, and I want every one of you who at least thinks you can make this kind of commitment, which ultimately, if you do it right, you build the show, and then you get the right team involved, you're going to be in a position where you really just show up for the call. You show up for the web TV show, and just like a celebrity, everything else is really done for you, and that's really the position you want to be in. And I can almost guarantee from my perspective that if you create the leading show in your niche like that, you're going to have enough money to not only take care of all those people, but to create a show that's going to produce a lot of profit for you, a lot of list building for you, a community for you, a series of expert colleagues for you, and of course an audience that will allow you to make all kinds of money with almost anything you do. So that being said, it really makes a lot of sense to get involved with this. That being said, Ann, do you have any last words on things that you'd like to share with everybody? Nabi, you want to say something? Go ahead, Nabi.
I was just going to say, Mark, that when you consider what Ann goes through, $500 is an absolute bottom line bargain price. If this was being presented by some of the other gurus out there, $2,000 would not be out of the question as a bottom line price. $5,000 would probably be closer. Now, I know I'm probably cutting my own throat here, Ann. Please don't go off at me. But the reality is, when you think about people like John Lee Dumas, who've made month after month after month consistently hundreds of thousands of dollars from a podcast show, imagine, and that's just, podcasting is just a voiceover, okay? You're taking literally people's identity, their physical appearance, and you're putting them out there in front of the probably millions of people in Google. The money that can be generated from doing that, the exposure, you know, when you start thinking how easy this is, and you're too cheap, sorry.
Yep, that's true. Well, it is true, but you know, ultimately, because of the relationships we can create with people right now, it does allow us to be in a position that's even more valuable than that. So we're going to get paid in a lot of other ways, but just to show you that we're actually doing this for the long term, because ultimately we want partners. We want partners who are close to us, who are excited about us helping them do some great things in this web TV space. That's really what it's all about. Right, Ann?
Absolutely. Like I said, this is a partnership. And by the way, we are not, you know, in season that's coming up in September, the price is going to triple right away. So we are going to hedge up really fast. So don't underestimate, you know, the $500 here. And like I said, we need you. We need great content, and we're willing to put our time, our effort, our expertise in teaching you and creating content together. You know, it's really literally just covering the cost when you think about hours and hours that we put together to, you know, to produce the live events and put all this on. And Nabi has already gone through the program. He's seeing just what's in there and how much content there is and all that goes in there. So again, it's just basically get in there. This is the time for us to work together. This is the time for us to leverage web TV for what it is. And this time and space will never be repeated again. So let's partner up and show the world what we can do and who we are. Let's just take over web TV. That's what I'm shooting for.
Exactly. Well, that's we're basically pretty much out of time, but that is this. What more could be said? I mean, this is the biggest opportunity of many of our lifetimes. I mean, web TV actually was the big promise of the internet. I don't know if everybody understands that or not. That was the big promise of the internet ultimately. That was so important with most of the .coms and broadcast, .com, which was sold to YouTube or Google for $5 billion and all that. So this is the opportunity right now, and it's so important. So I want everybody to really understand that. So other than that, what I'd like you to do, if you're not even sure if you want to do this, also go to megahangout.com/web TV show. If you are sure, go to the same place, megahangout.com/web TV show. We hope to see you in the program. If you have any questions, let us know. You can also email us at support@jointventuresummit.com, and we'll absolutely create a strategy session with you to show you how we can make millions of dollars together. I'll give you an example. I've had several strategy sessions myself with people, and 2 of them were $100 million shows. And I'm not joking when I say that, because they literally were taking what they were experts on a local basis, and we're going to make it a national deal. And it was an easily monetizable multiplication of what they were already doing. So there's some amazing things that can be done here, and if you're not sure how that can be done, make sure you join us, get a strategy session. We'll show you exactly how we can help you do that. So that being said, Ann, I'll give you the last word if you want to say, and then we'll hit the road.
No, that's it. Thank you, everybody, for joining us, and let's go. Let's get together.
Okay, well, thank you, Anchor, and Diane, and Nabi, and everybody who's been viewing here today. We really appreciate you being on it. We know it's Sunday afternoon, investing your time. It was the timing issue. We had to do it today. There was no other time we could do it. I usually like to take the day off myself completely from this. But at the same time, it was important that all of you got it this last week, because we're starting Tuesday, which tomorrow's the last day you can really sign up for this. And so you need to do it. You need to do it now. And as Ann mentioned, several months back when we were kind of developing the pricing for this, I told her, look, $497 is ridiculously low, and she'll tell you that. And I said, we got to do at least $1,497 or $2,000. And she said, yeah, but you know what? I just want to get it out there because we can get the momentum going in the marketplace so people can see these shows being successful, and not just with some of our close partners who are maybe higher profile. So with that being said, she talked to me a couple of days ago. She goes, Mark, I'm tripling this thing, for the next season. So I'm like, I know, I've been trying to tell you that, So it's really important that you get involved in this right now. You'll save yourself not only money, but more importantly, the time, because the time here is right now, and the first mover advantage is absolutely priceless in this area. Because let me just tell you a quick story. If you and I started doing a race, and we're both starting in New York City, and we're going to run to California. The fact is that if I can start before you, and I can run as fast as you, I will win. It's just that simple. Even if I just start 10 minutes before you, I will win, because ultimately the person who's first, as long as they run as fast as their fastest competitor, or the fact is they will still be the leader and ahead of the game. And the fact is, when you're ahead of the game, you can do things that are no longer available to the second guy. Because first of all, you're the leader, you're the first, right? And there's some things you can do that aren't now available to them. There's some amazing things that happen because as long as you're watching them, you can see how fast they're going, and therefore you will always be ahead of them. And worse is that in order for them to catch up with you, they actually have to run faster than you. There's no question about it. They have to run faster than you in order to be able to catch up with you. So for every day that you decide not to take action on this is a day that you could be running farther ahead of your next competitor to make this happen. And that could be, your next competitor could be planning on doing this 6 months from now, or 3 months from now when Ann's next version of this comes out, okay, when it's triple the price and all that. The fact is that you need to get started. You need to get started right now, and you need to start running, and you will always be the market leader. And remember, the number one modality is television, whether it's web or on offline TV, and therefore with web TV, you now have the ability to create the largest audiences in your niches has ever seen in the number one modality, and you have the chance to be first. Can't say it any better than that. So, guys, let's see you there, okay? Everybody have a blessed and happy day, and thanks, guys, for joining us, and we'll see you guys soon. Take care.